I see me wiping him out clean. He's too small for me to get me.
Yeah, he's not a monster. He's a little monster.
Finisher. Down from my hands!
I'm gonna smash him. I know I am.
Down his legs, a little bit shaky here.
Inoue! No, you are no monster. Inoue scared me.
Some fighters study Naoya Inoue's tape and get scared.
He's vicious.
Others study his tape and decide he's overrated. Over the last decade, more than a dozen men have stood across the ring from the monster, and a surprising number of them made the same mistake before the first bell ever rang. They mocked him and brutally underestimated him. But what happened next became one of the greatest collections of revenge stories boxing has ever seen. They told cameras he was just a hype job, and then every single one of them found out how wrong they were on camera in real time. Inoue almost never answers with words. He answers with violence. Today, we're looking at the fighters who underestimated, mocked, taunted, or even disrespected Naoya Inoue and his family. You already know two names are coming: Louise Nery and Stephen Fulton. Their trash talk is the most famous. And yes, we're covering both in full, but stay until the very end, because the last fighter on this list isn't a big name at all. It's someone even longtime Inoue fans rarely talk about, a former world champion most casual fans have never heard of. His disrespect wasn't even words. It was an unusual stunt, and it happened in a fight that contributed a genuinely monumental milestone to Inoue's career. This isn't a ranking, it's a case file. Let's start with the man who thought his size and his experience made him safe. A champion who genuinely believed Inoue wasn't ready for him. He couldn't have been more wrong. When Naoya Inoue announced he was moving up to the bantamweight division, some experts believed he was taking a dangerous risk. In May 2018, then defending WBA bantamweight champion Jamie McDonnell was exactly the kind of opponent that should have worried Inoue's camp. A durable, veteran, two-time bantamweight world champion who had gone unbeaten for almost 10 years and had never once been stopped. He had beaten good operators like former world champion, another Japanese fighter, Tomoki Kameda, twice. He had a 5-inch height advantage on Inoue, and going into fight week, his own promoter, Eddie Hearn, was publicly framing the height gap as the deciding factor, telling reporters Inoue looked like he could easily shed weight, and that McDonnell's size had to be an advantage. McDonnell himself wasn't hiding his skepticism either. He'd built his whole case around one idea. He'd already shared a ring with legitimate world-level operators, and he wanted to see, in his own words, whether this monster hype could actually survive real experience, not just knockout reels against opponents who couldn't punch back. During interviews before the fight, McDonnell repeatedly questioned whether Inoue had earned all the hype. He pointed out that Inoue had never faced someone his size, and suggested the Japanese knockout artist had been feasting on naturally smaller opponents. One of McDonnell's biggest talking points was simple: he's never boxed anyone like me. To McDonnell, this wasn't another title defense. This was supposed to be the night reality would finally catch up with the monster.
Was it? You didn't know who he was?
I didn't. I still don't even know his. I can't pronounce his first name. I just call him Inoue. Yeah. Just googled him on YouTube and thought, yeah, he's tasty, but I can beat him. I'm gonna smash him. I know I am. Not scared, but I feared Kameda a bit more than I feared this Inoue when I watched Inoue for the first time. So, and I went and beat Kameda, and I beat him quite comfortably. Yeah, he's got the nickname Monster, but he's not. They've got 2 arms, 2 legs. You're all weighing the same. I'm a big bantamweight. I'm probably, I could fight at featherweight. So it's not, I'm big, I'm strong. I'm not a banger. And I think, I think I beat him easy. As long as I do what I need to do, I think I beat him easy.
I believe he's going to win. I genuinely believe he's going to win. I know he's going to be surprised at how strong Jamie is. He's a strong boy. So we would like to stop him. We'll smash him to bits.
The size difference was obvious. Many wondered if Inoue's power would finally disappear after moving up another weight class against someone whose body frame is naturally bigger. But size didn't matter at all. Inoue needed just 1 minute and 52 seconds to get the job done. A digging left hand to the body dropped McDonald first. He barely beat the count. Then, Inoue backed him into the ropes and unloaded a flurry that ended the fight and terminated McDonald's WBA reign before the first round was even over.
Well, the head down, his legs seem a little bit shaky here. A minute and a half into the first round. Get through this opening round. He's got a minute left. Retreats to the ropes immediately. Inoue looking to tee off with that right hand, left hand. And McDonald sags into the ropes again. And Luis Pabon, the referee.
McDonald was visibly distraught and in tears after his quick knockout loss. Afterward, in his dressing room, a humbled McDonald told the press he couldn't help but admire Inoue, calling him the most powerful bantamweight in the world. The man who came to test the hype left as one of its biggest believers. And this was only the beginning. The man who claimed Inoue had never faced anyone like him ended up becoming another highlight in Inoue's growing collection of knockouts. And the scary part, this was only the beginning, because the next man didn't just underestimate Inoue, he believed America was about to expose him. By 2017, Naoya Inoue had already become a phenomenon in Japan, but critics still had one complaint. Let's see him do it in America. Then came Antonio Nieves. This wasn't just another title defense. This was Inoue's US debut. New country, new crowd, new pressure, and Antonio Nieves, the hometown fighter, used every bit of that home turf advantage to talk down the visiting champion in the build-up, framing Inoue as an overseas name who hadn't proven himself on American soil, and predicting he'd expose him in front of his own fans. During interviews leading up to the fight, Antonio openly questioned Inoue's level of competition. He suggested the monster hadn't fought anyone like him, and believed the pressure of fighting in the United States would be completely different.
Inoue just walked in the building. Are you concerned that he's gonna spy right now?
No, I don't think he's a spy. He should be very afraid, man. Inoue is little as hell. Look at him. Look how small he is. He was 108 pounds.
Gonna slap him Saturday? Oh yeah, the Stockton slap?
Man, get slapped on Friday. We're gonna turn that shit over. We ain't slapped.
To many American fans, this was their first real look at the monster. To Nieves, this was an opportunity to become the man who exposed boxing's newest sensation.
But has he really been tested? Like, all his fights been in Japan. Half of them were at 108. You know, fighting guys that stand right in front of him. You know, everything went his way. You know, he's at home, lower weight class, so we don't know. But Saturday we're gonna make him fight, and we're gonna see if he really is what the hype is all about. We're gonna see if the power is devastating, like everybody says, on Saturday, and we're gonna work to the victory, and we're gonna put the hype down. We don't know if he has that grind power in him, and when it's time to really dig deep and fight, we don't know if he has that. I know I do, because you know it's been hard for me my whole career to get where we're at, and you know we're gonna test him on Saturday and see what he really has.
But once the opening bell rang, those expectations lasted only a few minutes. Inoue completely controlled the fight. His body shots echoed throughout the arena. Inoue turned his first fight on American soil into a statement. He broke Nieves down round by round systematically.
Not surprisingly, the classic technical defense. You'll have to make those adjustments. It's a heavy jab. When he throws it, and its game plan can go out the window quick. All I said is, just implement that game plan. Anyway, it's put Nieves away here in this round, and that's really looked devastated. It's really bust the next, Monday work. Soon maybe he could do that, but we're trying to find somewhere to hide in the ring, and he can't. Inoue just keeps walking him down, gets him into the
dropped him.
Inoue has it ready to go to the body. Yep, there it is. Beautiful body shots on now. You will see another left right by the solar plexus. Nieves hesitates and then decides to take it.
And forced the stoppage, turning the hometown fighter's own confidence into the loudest silence in the building. It wasn't just a win. It was Inoue announcing himself to an entire new continent of fans on the back of the exact confidence that was supposed to beat him. The monster had officially arrived in the United States, but while Nieves only underestimated Inoue, the next story became much more personal, because this time, the disrespect wasn't aimed at Naoya. It was aimed at the man standing quietly beside him. This next one isn't about a fighter's mouth, it's about his team's hands. And it's the one that made this genuinely personal for Inoue. By 2019, Naoya Inoue wasn't simply defending world titles anymore. He was fighting in the World Boxing Super Series, boxing's version of a tournament to crown the very best. Standing across from him was then unbeaten IBF bantamweight champion Emmanuel Rodriguez. Rodriguez had every reason to be confident. He was undefeated, technically gifted, and believed he possessed the style to frustrate the explosive Japanese champion. 2 nights before the fight, both camps were at an open workout, and Inoue's father and trainer, Shingo Inoue, was doing what he always does, quietly filming his son's opponent from ringside on his phone. That's when Emmanuel Rodriguez's trainer, William Cruz, walked over, stared him down, and shoved him aside. Shingo Inoue described it plainly afterward. He said he was pushed while simply taking pictures, and called it ungentlemanly, while adding that outside the ring, nothing needed to be hostile. But Rodriguez's corner wasn't finished. His trainer told the press this was a war, that they hadn't come to play, and that when Saturday came, everyone would learn the real monster was Rodriguez. Naoya Inoue wasn't even in the building when his father got shoved. He didn't need to be. Word travels fast in a boxing gym. For fans who know Naoya Inoue, there are very few ways to make a fight personal. Disrespecting his father is one of them. Unlike many fighters, Inoue didn't start shouting. He didn't create headlines. He simply listened, then quietly prepared for fight night. When the opening bell rang, Rodriguez looked composed early. He tried to establish distance, move laterally, control the tempo. But then, everything changed. A perfectly timed left hook exploded onto Rodriguez's jaw. Terrific knockdown scored. Rodriguez rose, only to walk straight into another devastating attack. Another knockdown. The pressure became overwhelming. Then came more explosive shots. The speed, the accuracy, the sheer violence. Rodriguez simply couldn't survive it. By the second round, the referee stepped in. Just like that, another undefeated champion had been demolished.
It's over. It's the first knockdown. That was a really good stuff to fight, but he wanted to continue. That I've seen with my own eyes, sitting this close.
There was no celebration of revenge, no shouting toward Rodriguez's corner, no emotional speech afterward, only another quiet reminder that if you disrespect the monster, or the people closest to him, he'll let his fists do the talking. And afterward, Inoue confirmed it himself. Once he found out what happened, Shingo, he wanted to inflict real damage the moment he stepped through the ropes, turning a personal insult to his father into extra fuel behind every punch he threw that night. Boxing writers would spend years afterward calling it the clearest example of Inoue fighting with something extra behind his punches, because this time, it wasn't just his own reputation on the line, it was his father's. Now here's the fight most of you probably clicked for. If there was one opponent who truly believed Naoya Inoue had been manufactured by hype, it was Stephen Fulton. Unlike many of Inoue's previous opponents, Fulton wasn't intimidated. In fact, he welcomed the challenge. As the reigning unified super bantamweight champion, Fulton repeatedly argued that Inoue's accomplishments at lighter weights meant nothing now. According to him, this wasn't bantamweight anymore. This was his division. In one of his most talked about interviews with Brian Custer, Fulton confidently declared he'll completely wipe out the monster. Not edging him, not winning a close decision, but wiping him out.
He's good. But I have to say this, if I break down that fight between me and him, I see me wiping him out clean. He's too small for me. He's too short. His reach isn't there. I'm not gonna sit there for those power shots all the time. It's just a lot that I can just analyze off of him. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting him, taking anything away from him. I took my hat off, but he's not better than me.
Throughout fight week, the tension only intensified. Then came concerns about Inoue's hand wraps. This topic became one of the biggest talking points leading into the fight. Some fans wondered whether Team Fulton was playing mind games, while others believed they were genuinely suspicious. Regardless of the reason, the controversy added another layer of hostility to an already heated matchup. In the final 24 hours before the bout, Fulton's own trainer, Wahid Rahim, nearly blew the whole thing up. Rahim stood in front of assembled media and accused Inoue's team of stacking his hand wraps, layering tape over gauze over more tape to essentially create a hardened cast under the glove. He called it a safety violation. He even threatened to pull Fulton out of the fight entirely unless their hand-wrapping demands were met.
I have a safety concern that I would like to address. In previous fights, Inoue and his team has wrapped his hands with excessive amount of tape on his skin, then placing gauze and more tape, which creates a cast. This is not an assumption, I have proof. We could also wrap our hands in the same fashion, but then again, where is the level of safety for the fighters? If this issue isn't resolved, I would not let my fighter into the ring.
そしてこのような問題がまだまだ起こるようでしたら、選手たちがリングに上がる。
We are already behind enemy lines. We have made no request, nothing at all. We have not even asked for a rematch clause. This is the only request that I'm demanding.
Great news as the monster, Naoya Inoue. He has conceded to put to bed the hand wrap situation and the glove situation. As you see, he decided that he wasn't going to stack his hand wraps going into this massive showdown with the undefeated unified WBC WBO super bantamweight world champion superstar boxer cool boy Stephen Fulton, who is 21 wins, no loss, no draw, 8 wins by way of knockout.
But the real gut punch of disrespect came from Fulton himself, relayed by his own trainer. When Raheem voiced his concerns directly to his fighter, Fulton's response was blunt. He didn't care if Inoue had bricks in his gloves, he was winning regardless. Fulton remained convinced that Inoue's reputation had been built against smaller men. He insisted the monster would struggle against an elite boxer with superior footwork, defense, and ring IQ. For the first time in years, many experts actually agreed. Some picked Fulton to win. Others believed this would finally be the fight that exposed Inoue's limits.
I just think Fulton is the bigger, stronger guy that not only bigger and stronger, but he has skills too. You know, it's one thing a lot of people say, oh, well, this guy is big, this guy is strong, but skills pay the bills, and Floyd proven that. And Fulton got the skills to back up his size as well.
I fought power punchers. Other than his power, could you tell me what do we have for? I'm very confident in this fight because the way I trained, the way I made weight, like I feel good.
Then the bell rang. From the opening round, Inoue won the range battle that was supposed to be Fulton's biggest weapon. Fulton had a real height and reach advantage on paper, but his jab barely landed all night, while Inoue's jab and body work got through with almost no resistance. By the end of the fight, the punch stats told the real story. Inoue landed nearly 3 times as many punches as Fulton did across the entire bout. Rounds 1 and 2 set the tone. Inoue stalking forward behind that jab, digging to the body, and Fulton mostly circling and trying to survive on distance rather than actually win exchanges. Rounds 3 and 4 were Fulton's best chance to make a case. He used his legs, popped in and out, wanting the bout to make it look competitive. But even then, he wasn't landing anything of consequence. He was surviving, not winning. Eventually, cracks started showing. Fulton got caught with clean shots a couple of times trying to counter, and every time he did, he couldn't follow up. Inoue was already gone, resetting to a safe distance before Fulton could capitalize. Meanwhile, the body shots kept accumulating underneath. Fulton had his best moments in round 5, round 6, and especially round 7, where he managed to land clean combinations and a solid right hand. But overall, Inoue was still generally dominating the fight. Then round 8 happened. A perfectly timed right hand set up a short, brutal flying left hook, and Fulton's legs buckled and dropped. He beat the count, but the moment the fight resumed, Inoue swarmed him with an unanswered flurry, and the referee had seen enough. Fight was over. Inoue didn't just win the titles, he completely dismantled a fighter widely considered the best pure boxer at 122 pounds, round after round, and proved that no amount of tape, real or imagined, was ever the actual problem.
Really hard to get in and out. Oh, right hand hurts him! Oh, a huge right hand from the monster! And then he chases him down! Fulton is laid out, struggling to get to his feet. Lot of time to work here in round number 8. Fulton hurt badly. The monster on the attack, trying to claim 2 more belts as Fulton tried to grab the ropes, backed up into the corner. Here comes Inoue. That destructive, decisive power does it again. The monster.
The same man who questioned his greatness, who doubted his power, and whose camp spent Fight Week raising questions about gloves and hand wraps, became another victim of the monster. And once again, Inoue said almost nothing afterward. His fists had already delivered the loudest answer imaginable. If Fulton questioned Inoue's ability, Luis Nery questioned his identity. Long before they fought, Nery made it clear he wasn't impressed by boxing's pound-for-pound star. He repeatedly dismissed the nickname that had become famous around the world, saying, "He's not a monster." Nery declared he is the real monster at 122 and vowed he'll claim another knockout victory in Japan.
He's not a monster. He's a little monster.
He wants to take his mask off. Are you the monster of 122?
He's the real monster. He's the real monster of 122.
To understand why this fight carried so much extra weight in Japan, you need the backstory first. Years before he ever faced Inoue, Nery already had a complicated history with Japanese boxing. In 2017, he traveled to Japan and knocked out beloved Japanese champion Shinsuke Yamanaka, only for it to come out afterward that he'd failed a drug test in the lead-up to the fight. The rematch was ordered, but Nery then missed weight so badly he was stripped of the title before the fight even happened, and Japan's own boxing commission suspended him, calling the whole saga a genuine embarrassment to the sport. Nery still went on to knock Yamanaka out again in that rematch, ending the Japanese legend's career on the way out. So by the time Nery stepped into the Tokyo Dome to fight Inoue, he wasn't just an opponent. To a lot of Japanese fans, he was the guy who'd cheated his way past a national hero and gotten suspended for it. And this was finally the fight, where they wanted to see him answer for it. Ahead of their May 2024 undisputed title fight at the Tokyo Dome, Nery again told the press flatly that Inoue wasn't actually a true monster, and that a knockout win for Mexico is coming. For about 90 seconds, Nery looked like a prophet. He dropped Inoue with a clean left hook in the first round, the first knockdown of Inoue's entire professional career in front of over 50,000 fans at a sold-out Tokyo Dome.
Doesn't seem spooked by the punching power. Oh! There it is!
Inoue goes down! Luis Nery with a first-round knockdown of the monster!
In the inside right here, you see Nery set up the shot. See the small uppercut right there, but you see when Inoue tends to throw one hand, that left hand, the opposite hand tends to drop. Poor fundamental habits right there from Naoya Inoue.
Boxing fans around the world were shocked. Inoue fans panicked, but what happened next may have become one of the defining moments of Inoue's entire career. Instead of panicking, he responded calmly. He even smiled. He stood up, reset himself, and immediately went hunting. By his own admission afterward, getting dropped only fired him up more. He returned the favor in round 2.
Out of position when Inoue commits, he's out of position.
Oh,
there
and
it is.
Inoue returns the favor!
Lunging forward. Nery again on the attack, coming forward, reaching with that left hand. You see him forward shift, and Inoue right there just filling that gap or that space with that left hook. Here he is reaching with the backhand. Inoue stepping back, has a single high shield. Oh, why don't you eat that, young man? Go ahead and sit down.
Tim, that is a prime example of what you described in terms of elite technique and athleticism.
Yes.
You just saw it.
Then round after round, the monster's punishment escalated. Precision body shots, counter punches, explosive combinations. Dropped Nery again in round 5. Nery was hurt, fading, and everyone in the building could feel the finish coming.
Like that! There it is.
There's the risk with no reward!
You see right there, just found a little gap right there. Lead hand is down of Nery.
And then came one of those moments that only live sports can give you. In the commentary booth, seconds before the finish, the broadcast turned to former world champion Timothy Bradley and asked him live on air how exactly Inoue was going to close this fight out, what the finishing move would look like. Bradley didn't even get the full sentence out before Inoue answered the question himself, inside the ring, in real time. A short, sensational right hand from the monster sent Nery's head crashing into the ropes, and the fight was waved off before the count could even start. It was almost like Inoue could hear the question being asked.
Nery can't keep taking these type of shots over and over and over.
What do you see as a potential finisher here, Tim?
There's the right hand! He just answered the question! As Nery has crumbled and the monster has roared! He's done it again!
Of Luis Nery. Tim, there are not enough superlatives to paint on this performance from the second round on.
No, not at all. And that finish right there, I mean, what do you say, Tess? And look at the way Nery hit the canvas. Knees buckled. Got hit with an uppercut, short uppercut right there on the inside. But then that short right hand has that type of effect. Like, gosh, that's just different level of technique right there. And punching power, that's God-given stuff right there. You know, Tess, you know what the difference is really with the Terrence Crawfords or the Inoues of the world?
The self-proclaimed real monster ended up on the canvas 3 times in one night. To the man he said wasn't one, the Tokyo Dome erupted. The fighter who insisted Inoue wasn't a monster ended up producing one of the monster's greatest knockout highlights. Ironically, the only thing Nery proved that night was just how dangerous Inoue becomes after being knocked down. Not every opponent used microphones. Some preferred a different language, the language of taunts. Not every disrespect happened at a press conference. Some fighters decided to do their talking with their hands down, mid-fight, right in Inoue's face. During his 2015 title fight against Naoya Inoue, Filipino challenger Warlito Parenas tried to unsettle the champion in the middle of the action. Whenever Inoue paused, Parenas gestured, inviting him forward, signaling for more, as if to say, "Come on, is that all you've got?" It was a risky decision, very risky, because there's one thing history has taught us. You don't challenge a puncher to punch harder. Inoue accepted the invitation, and the pace immediately changed. His combinations became sharper. His body attacks became more vicious. Parenas showed incredible courage. He kept standing. He kept firing back. But every exchange favored the champion, until the monster got the knockout and made the Filipino pay for his cute but ineffective theatrics. Parenas had earned respect for his toughness, but the taunts had only awakened a more aggressive version of Inoue. Sometimes, the loudest mistake a fighter can make is challenging the monster to become even more dangerous. By this point, Naoya Inoue had already conquered multiple weight classes. He was universally recognized as one of the greatest fighters on the planet. Most challengers no longer predicted victory. They simply hoped to survive. But Yeo-Jun Kim wasn't interested in surviving. Leading up to the fight, the South Korean challenger boldly declared that this was now his time. He insisted his opportunity had finally arrived. According to Kim, the era of Naoya was about to end. He even promised he would crush the Japanese superstar and shock the boxing world. To many fans, those comments sounded delusional. Kim was never even supposed to be in this fight. Inoue was locked in to defend his undisputed super bantamweight titles against Australia's Sam Goodman. But Goodman pulled out due to an eye injury, not once, but twice. with the second withdrawal coming just days before the rescheduled date. Suddenly, Top Rank needed a replacement fast. Kim, who was ranked well but outside the elite of the division, got the call. He had 11 days to prepare for the biggest fight of his career, against arguably the best boxer on the planet. Most fighters in that position would talk about opportunity or gratitude or simply surviving. Kim didn't play it that way. In the build-up, he told reporters he didn't believe Inoue had ever faced anyone quite like him before, and made it clear he thought Inoue's read on him was completely wrong, adding that Inoue would understand exactly what he meant the moment they started trading punches. At the final press conference, he doubled down, promising he'd find a way to knock Inoue out in his own style, and that he'd be going for it from the opening bell.
The boxing people, me, I'm different. It's my time. I crush him.
And for a few rounds, it actually looked like he might back it up. Kim fought from the southpaw stance and gave Inoue some problems early. His timing and patience made him surprisingly hard to pin down quickly. By round 3, despite visible swelling forming under his own eye, Kim was scoring shots cleanly to the body and even landing counter left hands that made Inoue pay for pressing forward. For a fighter who'd had less than 2 weeks to prepare, it was a genuinely gutsy showing. But then, the familiar pattern emerged. Inoue began reading everything, every jab, every feint, every attempt to close the distance. In round 4, after eating a clean left hand, Kim did something bold. He waved Inoue forward, daring him to bring more. Inoue obliged instantly with a 2-punch combination ending in a straight right that put Kim down for good, stopped with over 30 seconds left in the round. Afterward, Inoue was almost gracious about it, admitting he hadn't had much time to study Kim's style beforehand, and had simply spent the first few rounds feeling him out before the finish came together. It was a small, understated line from a champion who just turned a late replacement underdog's boldest moment into the exact reason the fight ended. Before challenging Inoue for the bantamweight championship, Jason Moloney repeatedly expressed his belief that Inoue had never faced a fighter quite like him. He praised Inoue's accomplishments, yet maintained that his own work rate and conditioning would expose weaknesses nobody else had found. He believed the upset was coming. It wasn't trash talk for him, it was conviction. And because Moloney genuinely believed it, many Australian fans believed it too.
He's not a monster in my eyes. I'm stronger than he is. I'm bigger than he is. I've been in the bubble. I know I'm going in there knowing exactly what to expect.
Fight night arrived. At first, Moloney boxed with discipline. He stayed busy, moved constantly, looked for opportunities, but Inoue was solving the puzzle in real time. Every round, his timing improved. Every exchange became more one-sided. Then round 6 arrived, and the fight's true shape finally showed itself. Inoue dropped Moloney with sharp counter left hook that visibly hurt him.
Thoughts that shot right there. Down goes Moloney on a quick counter.
4, 5, 6.
Inoue's a good finisher
7,
too.
8, okay, come to me.
Position to throw this left hook. Moloney came in with a double jab. You know, we're taught to, step in behind with the double jab. And if you don't do it from the right distance, well, you get set up with shots like this. Beautiful left hook right in between. Nice step back, a half a step back by Inoue. Nice check hook right there from him.
A lot to deal with, fellas. Power, speed, quickness, timing.
Moloney survived the round, but anyone watching could see he wasn't the same anymore. He looked hurt, hesitant, unwilling to commit to his own offense for fear of walking onto something even worse. In round 7, Inoue ended it. A clean shot to the head put Moloney down for a second time, and the referee waved the fight off at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the round, with Inoue having thrown, in the words of ringside reporters covering the fight, punishment that the challenger had simply stopped trying to answer.
Stick from Naoya Inoue as round 7.
Oh, a big right hand from Naoya Inoue, and Moloney is down and hurt.
6, 7, 8.
It's over, and it was.
Inoue started this fight the way that he ended it. He just got on fire.
He revved up his engine and he was all gas and no brakes. He did everything. He showed speed, he showed power, he showed some flavor with his feet, and you know, he ended with a devastating right hand like that. Moloney just made a mistake, threw a jab out there, and Inoue just took a half little step back and just made him pay with a brutal shot. You saw that coming. We were talking about this over the last couple rounds. It doesn't look like much is happening, but there's a lot happening. And you see Inoue, a guy with an IQ, setting up a shot like that to have an emphatic victory here in the United States. There's a lot of people that are going to start to know this young man's name. And if he continues to put on performances like this, he will be a household name.
Not every fighter tries to intimidate the monster before the fight. Some wait until the punches start flying, just like Perenas a while ago. Thailand's Pechbong-born Kokiet Jim, also known as Karun Jarupian Lurd, was also one of them. During the fight, there were moments where he gestured toward Inoue, inviting him to exchange, trying to show he wasn't intimidated, trying to convince the champion, "I'm still here." Against many champions, those gestures can shift momentum. Against Naoya Inoue, they usually have the opposite effect. Instead of becoming emotional, Inoue became even more precise. The counters landed cleaner. The body shots dug deeper. The pace became unbearable. The taunts slowly disappeared. By the end, the Thai challenger had discovered what so many before him already knew. Inviting the monster to attack is rarely a good idea. Akhmadaliev had been the WBA's mandatory challenger for close to 2 years, watching Inoue clean out the 122-pound division against Fulton, Tapales, Nery, and Kim while he waited for his turn. He kept calling out the monster with provocative remarks.
Inoue, stop ducking me. One fight, Uzbek power coming. Let's go, champ.
When the fight was finally announced, he wasn't shy about what he thought was about to happen. At the final press conference, he told the room he'd been patient for this opportunity for 2 years, and that he'd come to Japan to make history by shutting down the monster. In interviews around the build-up, he framed the entire fight as his personal proving ground, insisting his goal wasn't just to win a title, but to prove, in his words, that he could beat anyone inside that ring, highlighting an upset win over one of the best on the planet. But it never came close to happening. From the opening bell, Inoue's speed, both hands and feet, was simply on another level. He controlled the distance, speared Akhmadaliev with jabs, and worked the body relentlessly, walking his southpaw challenger down for round after round without ever really being troubled. Akhmadaliev, a legitimately dangerous puncher who'd knocked out his last 3 opponents in a row, barely got to show any of it. He found occasional success, a hard shot in round 5, and by most accounts he even briefly rocked Inoue in the closing moments of the fight. But those were fleeting flashes in what was otherwise one of the most one-sided, undisputed title defenses of Inoue's career. When the final bell rang, all 3 judges had it lopsided in Inoue's favor. 2 scored it 118 to 110, the other 117 to 111. It was Inoue's 5th defense of his undisputed super bantamweight crown, and he didn't even need to shift out of the gears he'd used against far lesser opposition. Yes, it didn't end in a knockout, but Inoue displayed he can also provide a complete, satisfying 12-round masterclass against any elite fighter if he wants to. Every revenge story we've covered today started with words, predictions, interviews, taunts, insults, but this one is highlighted with a banana. It was 2014. Naoya Inoue was only 20 years old. He had fought just 5 professional bouts. Most champions spend years climbing toward their first world title opportunity. Inoue had reached it almost immediately. Standing across from him was Mexico's Adrian Hernandez, a respected WBC light flyweight world champion, far more experienced, far more seasoned, So Inoue fought Hernandez for his very first world title. Not his third, not his fourth, his first. The fight that started everything in belt collection. And at the weigh-in, instead of the usual stare down, Hernandez pulled out a bit of theater, eating a banana on stage in front of Inoue, a small, mocking piece of showmanship designed to signal he wasn't remotely worried about the 20-year-old across from him. No fiery quotes needed, just a very public, "You're not a threat to me," written in body language. Yes, the gesture looked almost theatrical, almost dismissive, as if this title defense was just another ordinary day, as if the undefeated Japanese prospect standing beside him wasn't a serious threat. It became one of the most unusual weigh-in moments of Inoue's career, and even in all of boxing history. Fight night came. The atmosphere was electric. This wasn't just another fight. This was Inoue's chance to become a world champion in only his 6th professional bout. Many believed the jump had come far too soon. After all, he was facing an established champion. On paper, this looked exactly like the kind of mismatch that gets a young prospect fed to a real veteran. Hernandez had 29 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw record on a 7-fight winning streak, and had already made 4 successful defenses of his title. Inoue was again 20 years old, with only 5 professional fights to his name. This wasn't supposed to be close, but once the opening bell rang, experience didn't matter. Inoue attacked with astonishing composure. His speed shocked Hernandez, his timing surprised him, and his power changed the fight. The veteran champion found himself losing exchanges to a fighter barely old enough to drink in many countries. For the first 3 rounds, it looked exactly like Inoue's coronation was supposed to look. He was taller and considerably longer at range than the shorter, stockier Hernandez, and he used every inch of that advantage, controlling distance behind a sharp jab, picking his moments, and comfortably winning every round. Then in rounds 4 and 5, Hernandez had his moments. The champion turned up the pressure, closed the distance that Inoue had controlled so easily early on, and started landing real shots. At one point, he actually rocked Inoue, genuinely hurt him, giving the world its first real look at what would happen if the monster ever got caught clean by a legitimate puncher. For a young, unproven fighter in just his 6th pro fight, this was the exact kind of adversity that exposes prospects who aren't ready yet. In round 6, Hernandez continuing to have some success, pressing forward, looking every bit like the veteran champion he was. He landed some clean shots, but a clean right hand from an Inoue combination landed flush, and Hernandez went down. He managed to get back up to his feet, but he appeared dazed. The referee waved it off, stopping the fight at 2 minutes and 54 seconds of the 6th round. A 20-year-old, in just his 6th professional fight, became the first Japanese boxer ever to win a world title that early in a career by knocking out a 2-time world champion who'd walked into the ring with a banana's worth of confidence. The banana that seemed so amusing during weigh-in became an unforgettable symbol of misplaced confidence. While Hernandez underestimated a young challenger, he unknowingly stood across from a future all-time great. Looking back, it's incredible how often history repeated itself. Some opponents mocked Inoue's size, some mocked his nickname, some questioned his power, some challenged him during the fight, some even disrespected the people closest to him, and one simply ate a banana as if the biggest fight of a young champion's life was nothing more than lunch. Yet every one of them discovered the same truth. Naoya Inoue doesn't build rivalries with words, he builds them with knockdowns. He doesn't chase revenge on social media. He delivers it under the brightest lights, with perfectly timed punches and ruthless precision. That's why today, the monster has become more than just a nickname. It's a warning, because the moment you underestimate Naoya Inoue, you may already be starring in the next chapter of his revenge story. Respect isn't demanded by the monster, it's earned the hard way.